Yeah, you can see that even with that contrition, he's only confessing that he can go for a blended Scotch. But in a way, that plays to the strength of Johnnie Walker, because everything I've got laid out here is a blended Scotch, apart from the green, which is a single malt.
You have my interest.
So, for me, I think one of the best value for money Scotches in the world, and I'm an Australian, so that means I pay tax every time I take in air, is the Johnnie Walker Black. So it's got an age statement as well of 12 years. Now, getting back to that lovely experience we had in Port Melbourne at Starwood Whiskey. Now, the interesting thing about Australian whiskies
I'm
is
still having a happy ending.
This is the interesting thing about Australian whiskies, is that you don't need 12 years on an Australian whiskey. You just don't need it. You need maybe 4 years, and the equivalent of 4 years from an Australian whiskey will give you similar sort of development to something 12 years in Northern Europe. And the reason for that is our weather is just so much different. And you talk about the angel share of the whiskey. So you've spent all this money making this beautiful flavour complex, and then you have it in wood, and 10% of it or so per year goes up to the angels to enjoy. Well, in Australia, times that by 4 or so, because it's like that. That's how quickly our whiskies develop.
Wow.
So you'll see that some of these whiskies we've got here, for example, the Johnnie Walker 18, obviously it's 18 years because of that being the feature of its name. And then the Johnnie Walker Blue, which strangely enough does not even have an age profile on it.
What does that tell you?
You know, the Scotch distilleries, I like to play a lot with the idea of ghost distilleries. So a ghost distillery, it's not like a poltergeist. It's basically distilleries which have closed, from which they've still sourced the whiskies to make the blend. So to put an average in, where do you start to put an average in? If you put in 1 gram of something from a 100-year-old distillery, what's the average you're using?
So it wouldn't possibly be that they're using the dregs of the red and the gold and the whatever.
Well, I'll give you an idea.
Stick it into a pretty blue bottle and say, and we'll charge you 3 times the price for it.
Yes and no. So Johnnie Walker Blue, they say that from memory, it's 1 out of every 10,000 casks of the whiskey get chosen to make the blue. So the red is the standard, but up to the blue, it is definitely select.
Okay, so hang on. Let's get an assessment here. Mm-hmm. Johnny Red. We're talking, we're talking ballpark here. Mm-hmm. Johnny Red, we're talking Australian dollars.
Yeah.
Johnny
which
Red,
means all tax,
retail.
basically.
Johnny Red, retail, average. What do you pay for that in the shop? $40?
A little bit less. You could probably get it 35.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you pay for Johnny Blue?
That is really dependent on which
200
shop you buy
plus?
it from. Yeah, generally I scored that for just under 200 Australian.
Okay.
On sale.
$200.
Yeah, let's say 250 generally.
Okay, 250 generally. 35, 250.
Mm-hmm. It's not the same whiskies necessarily that have been blended, so it's not really much of a cogent argument.
35, 250.
Sure.
Is this worth 5 times the price of that when you drink it? I'm not talking about what they claim.
You see, you're missing the whole point from what I understand from Johnnie Walker. Apart from the fact that they're just so pretty and they stack together so well. I like them for that reason. The thing with Johnnie Walker is that it's very well defined from each stage as to what you're purchasing. And if it's a gift, for example, your work team has achieved a great result. The building has been made, the construction firm had a success. You buy a bottle that reflects that level of regard that you give to the person. Now, in some cultures, for example, a couple of weeks ago I was in Bangkok and I saw a whole lot of different Johnnie Walker bottles which were specifically for the Asian market, where it's the token of regard, it's the esteem, it's the symbol of regard that you're giving to somebody. That's what's important. Now, your question was to drink. For me, the one which is the emptiest is the Johnnie Walker Black, 12 years old. I think incredibly easy to drink with ice, or if you really had to mix it, you would. But I would go for the more flavoursome double black if I had to mix it.
That's very that's very
diplomatic.
oaky. That's very...
Oh, I thought you meant my answer.
Ah!
It's very diplomatic. Yeah, it's the black on steroids. It's wooded to the hilt. I really don't like it too much by itself. I went through a whole bottle just for research purposes until I got the taste for it.
As one does.
Yeah. Get onto it, kids. Kids are over 18.
Of course, as one does. I'm really at a loss here. I would like to... I genuinely would like to like Johnnie Walker.
Okay.
I really would.
Okay, what are you looking for in a whiskey? Apart from to have a good time.
A Starward.
Yeah, but I mean, Starward makes so many different sorts too. There's ones which are really pronounced with the flavour, really wooded. There's ones where they're single malt. There's ones which have got...
If you guys are overseas are having a problem with this, Starward. I know you're going to find this mind-blowing. We actually do make whiskey in Australia, and whiskey that would blow your mind.
And the Starward is W-A-R-D, as in the way of the stars, as opposed to wood. Yeah, as opposed to Starwood.
Yeah,
just when you look for it online.
Yeah,
Star W-A-R-D.
Yep. Amazing. I nearly had a happy ending.
Okay, so we'll go back to what you're looking for in a whiskey. Are you looking for... You prefer the blended to...
I prefer Irish, and since I've been introduced to Starward, I have been blown away, and it's just amazing.
Okay, you prefer Irish, which means you prefer something which is really smooth. On the absolute cheapest end, which is something you'd mix, would go for the blonde. For something which is on the more refined side, we'd start at the gold.
Oh, so
and
that's
then
right out of my league then, is it?
No. We'd start at the gold, and then I'd recommend that you'd move forward maybe
to the 18.
To the 18. But let's just try the gold, because I think in terms of something which is easy to drink.
Oh.
So around the double black level, actually from the green level onwards, they start to introduce a cork.
Is that what we call wank factor?
Well, I'll leave it to put in your mouth. So we're trying the gold.
So we're talking Gold Label Reserve. Okay. All right.
So this should not be too challenging. But it should be quite refined. So I know that you like the triple distilled Irish.
Yes, very much so.
So
Definitely.
This is not that, but this is a Johnnie Walker Gold Reserve. With that idea in mind, I'm serving you this.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that whiskey. Absolutely no staying power whatsoever.
Correct. It's gone. It's gone.
Gone. Yep.
Yeah. It's completely ephemeral. It has the duration of nothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Nothing offensive about that whatsoever.
That is as smooth
I could drink that all day.
Yeah.
No problem at all. But why would you want to when there is nothing? After you take that sip, it's gone. It's gone. And what's that worth on the market? To buy average retail, I'm talking ballpark here. $100, $120?
You're probably looking at the $100 mark. Yeah.
Okay. Why would you do that? When for $120...
But they're so pretty. Why'd you do it? I'll tell you why you do it. It's incredibly smooth. You've had a hard day.
It is. I agree.
You want to sit down, whether it's you've got your own fireplace like this or not.
How good is that?
And relax and say, I just don't want to think about anything. I don't even want to think too much about what I'm drinking. But I have worked damn hard and I want to enjoy myself. This is great. You really can't complain about it apart from the finish.
No,
it is as smooth as can be.
It is.
You praise Irish whiskey for how smooth it is. That is smooth. In fact, part of you is probably quite surprised how smooth it is.
I am surprised how smooth it is. However, as smooth as Irish is, it hangs around there and earns its pay. This doesn't.
All right. Well, this is where we start.
Do you agree with me there?
I can neither confirm nor deny. Now we're going to a whiskey which I regard actually as being a very good whiskey, which is the 18. So let's do what one needs to do with ours.
We can't let it go to waste.
No, it will be responsibly drunk, won't it? Promise me? The 18 you can get for wildly different prices in Australia. Really wildly different. You can pay up to 60% more for the same bottle. So if you find it on special, grab a few. Okay. I think you'll enjoy the flavour of this as well as the finish. So again, in Australia, an 18-year-old thing would look like, you know, the tar that they put on the roads?
Yes. Oh, that's got a completely different profile to it.
I like it. I like it.
I like it.
I like it. It's pleasing. It's toasty. The finish is not strong, but it's persistent.
Oh, here we go. So we're going to the Irish end, are we?
No. No, you see, what we're talking again about is his taste. He's more of a Coca-Cola, maybe a Coca-Cola Light sort of person with his palate. You can't blame him. It was a communist upbringing. Whereas some of the whiskies which I like, and I guess it's because my grandmother was a McDonald from the Isles, we're talking about the salt spray, the iodine, really completely different flavour profiles. What we've got here is generic range mostly, with your part of the Islay one. It is good. Let's not pretend.
I'm not pretending. It's smooth. Do I hazard to say it's creamy?
Yeah, I can get that. A little bit of butter.
There's absolutely no stain. The other one had more staying power than this.
So what you have to understand is that one of us is not a smoker.
I'm not a smoker either.
No.
I'm a vapor. That's vapor.
And I didn't touch it, Mum. I was cleaning.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Again, no staying power. I honestly say this to you without wanting to offend you.
Yeah.
It's smooth. It really is smooth.
It's delicate too.
Yes, and it's buttery, like you said.
Correct.
No staying power. What the hell is going on with these people?
Well, there's a couple of ways we can go. We can go to something which has got a much more flavoursome palate, and we will do that, but not just now. What we're going to do is take it to the natural conclusion and try the blue.
Whoa!
Please finish that, because you've got a few of our Australian dollars there. And you know, when you're an Australian going overseas, it's like having a handful of shells and coloured beads and trying to trade.
Our tax system. You see, I need to stay monetised, so I can't say what I actually want to. It's a very smooth whiskey.
It is.
There is no doubt
good.
about that. You have no argument from me. No staying power. None whatsoever. I cannot believe that you don't have anything like that in an 18-year-old. That is just... That's blasphemy. Blasphemy for a Scotch.
Well, let's move on. I'll let you do the honours. This is the blue.
The blue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Look, I'll tell you what. You've run the show up till this stage, okay? You've given me the range. You've given me the samples. I've tried them. I tried to be
Polite.
Polite. and I tried to be agreeable, and I tried to be fair. And I think that in all fairness, I think I should now take the reins and say, look, okay, we're going down this road, let's go down this road, but this time we're doing it my way.
Are we talking generous, Paul? Is that what we're talking?
Well, it's not always quantity.
Right.
Although quantity does play a good part. Quality does count. And I believe that if we're going to do this fairly...
Well, you've got to do it right.
Well, you do.
You do.
I agree. And the only way to do this right, in my opinion, and you know that, you know...
You must be fucking... You must be joking.
It's a Johnnie. The only fair way to test a Johnnie
I get paid in Australian dollars. And I'm not Gina Reinhardt. I don't have shares.
Are you getting your heart palpitations?
Okay. I'm going to be a hard pass on anything like that. And you know what worries me? You've actually queued up not just a Coca-Cola there, but also a diet.
Well,
and another diet that... Now,
I like to be prepared.
Okay. I thought we were doing the proper pairing.
No. We are doing the proper pairing.
I'm just thinking, how many minutes pay is in that glass?
And I'm sure this will be perfect.
Please don't say Bellissimo. Please don't say Bellissimo.
Angels are rising. Oh my God. I have seen the light. I have found religion. This is the way to have Johnnie Walker.
Just to refresh my mind, just to refresh my memory. So we've started with Johnnie Walker Red. How many levels up have you gone to decide to mix it?
I believe blue is the top of the range. Is blue the top of the range?
So we go from the nadir to the zenith, and what do you think is picked? We go from the alpha to the omega.
I think we're just fine.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you what I see. I see a much different colour profile. It's not the same insipid colour of the others. The nose is a lot more pronounced. Smooth as all get out. And I really, really enjoy it. But it's my money in this glass, and as it happens, also in this.
And that's just how I like it.